Welcome, everybody, to The Interview, a special Digital Divas podcast. With me in Innovation City's Media Center studio is Lays Bammesberger. Am I saying it right?
That is perfect. Yeah, better than I can say it myself most days.
Well, that's a great compliment. Thank you. Lays, tell us about yourself, please.
Sure. So I'm currently the enterprise account executive at Meltwater. I have been living in Cape Town for the past 7 years, working in the beautiful office at the waterfront, and I specialize in social media intelligence, analytics, and I spend a lot of my time looking at global trends and consulting with our African clients on that space.
Amazing. Okay, Meltwater. I mean, that is a global company. So you would know the global trends. Can you tell us what are some of the main trends that are happening right now in Africa?
Absolutely. Well, globally, and I think it's going to be impacting Africa very soon, is the change of Twitter into X. I think that's a really big topic right now,
Yeah.
trying to understand what that means for the social media landscape, what that will mean for the future of social media for our general day-to-day use. So we have our eyes peeled to try and figure out what that will mean for the future of social media.
Why do you think Elon Musk did that?
Um, Elon Musk is an interesting person. So it's quite difficult to figure out exactly what he wants to do with the change. But we have seen the desire to become somewhat like the WeChat in the Asian market, where it's beyond just social media interactions, but also incorporating mobile payments, e-commerce, and becoming an app for lifestyle rather than just social media.
Oh, very interesting. I did not know that. Fantastic. So, you obviously are an expert in this. So, I'm very, very happy to announce that you will be one of the speakers in the Art of Digital segment. Okay, so you guys basically collect a lot of valuable data, right? What is the kind of data that you collect that excites you the most?
Ooh, that excites me the most. We do collect a lot of data. It's about billions of documents every single day that goes through the platform. Um, I'm particularly excited about TikTok data. We have seen it being one of the most like on the rise social media platforms in the last year, specifically in South Africa, and it's mostly untapped by brands. There's still a little bit of fear when it comes to launching into TikTok, but the research suggests that a lot of the users are on TikTok to find new brands and new ways to connect with brands. So that's probably one that excites me the most. Whenever I hear a customer wanting to launch on TikTok, I get really excited and possibly talk about it for hours.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, TikTok is definitely the thing. I mean, the stats are nuts about, especially I found it actually amazing how much the US actually uses TikTok, even though there's been all this, anti-TikTok, politics around it. It's quite nice because I think it kind of feels like a free platform where people can actually essentially even make money, but at least be expressive, and I think I agree. I think TikTok's amazing. um what are if somebody wanted to start their own digital, or wanted to take their business digital, what would be some of the key things that they would have to really consider to be able to do that, or to at least start them off properly?
Mm. Um, I think the first step is consider your e-commerce strategy. I think that's often something that's overlooked or seen as something that I can just get through to this website and create my own website and that's that. But if you have a strategy behind it as to how are you going to get customers to access your website through social media, through word of mouth, and make it something that's an extension of your brand, I think it goes a long way. So don't overlook your website. Don't overlook how mobile friendly it is, how accessible it is from your social media pages. Really pay attention to that, because the world is becoming more and more digital. So I think really thinking about the customer experience once they land on your website is really key.
Cool, cool, cool. Some very good advice there. So another part of what Meltwater does is that it allows the client to have access to media sites and journalists and things like that. And as a journalist myself, I find that it definitely has changed. Nowadays it's more a monetary thing where if you want to be on a site, the best thing to do is to pay for it, because what you consider newsworthy anymore, because we're living in a global arena digitally, is not necessarily news for everybody else. And just because something happened in your company, your tiny little company in a little town, doesn't necessarily mean that the journalist will pick it up. And oftentimes I think they can't. So is there a secret to getting your stuff basically put on a site by media sites?
That is such a great question. Looking at all of the customers I've worked with over the years, there's a particular story that I really enjoyed being a part of. It was a couple of years ago, and a customer of ours was launching their coffee brand, and he wanted everyone to know that it was the strongest coffee in the world, and he was really proud about it and wanted to break the internet. But how he did it is particularly what was really groundbreaking, is that he used a lot of humor. So he used a lot of hashtags that were humorous, the story was humorous, and he really portrayed the brand image in that press release. And he sent out the press release through the platform, and I had my fingers crossed. I was like, you're going to do so well. Like, this brand is really exciting. And the next day, the brand got picked up by Good Morning America. So,
wow.
From Cape Town, he got featured in the show, and within 24 hours, through humor, through building a brand that people want to be a part of, his press release got picked up by thousands of sources within 24 hours. So definitely humor.
That's amazing. Okay. And then, I mean, obviously, it's a privilege having Meltwater on, and you do have different, tiers of membership and subscription and things like that. But say you just started out and you don't actually have a budget yet for the amazing service that Meltwater does give. What is something that you can do for free?
That is a great question. There are lots that you can do for free on social media. I think the first one is playing around with your content. Make sure that you are testing what works, what doesn't work. Look at your interactions, and be frequent. Don't just post once every week or once every day even. You have to be as frequent as possible and look at the data. You may not have access to a platform straight away as you're starting out, but if you are able to publish content that is genuine, that really speaks to your brand, and that translates your passion for your product or for your service into the content, and look at what performs, you are going to be able to find and build your niche from there.
Excellent. Okay, and then let's go back to data. What is the one most important thing you have to look at? I know there's lots, but if you had to just look at one thing, what would that most important thing be?
I would look at engagement.
Uh-huh.
That is
And
the
what
one
is
metric.
engagement for people who don't really know what that means?
That would be your likes, your shares. When people come across your page, does it make them stop? And that's really what social media is all about. There's so much out there, but if you're able to make someone stop and interact with your post, that's really the key metric. That should be the king when it comes to social media.
Lovely. Lays, are you a digital diva?
I am, absolutely.
What does being a digital diva mean to you?
I think it means taking ownership of your expertise and you're passionate in digital. You really have to own it. You have to be able to speak up and share what works in a room that may not understand your day-to-day.
Fantastic. Okay, let me just look into my questions just now. I think, and put my glasses on because I'm old and blind. What impact do you believe events like Digital Divas can have on the representation and empowerment of women in various professional fields? It's a great question that I wrote down right there. But yeah, we are doing this for the first time. This is the inaugural Digital Divas, and we personally found that there was a dire need for women to be represented, and particularly in the digital sense and in the tech industry. It's mostly guys. So, we feel like it's important. But I mean, what does it mean to you, do you think, for an event like this to happen?
It means a lot. Looking back at my career, the times where I learned the most and that I was able to grow the most is when I was surrounded by women that inspired me and women that I could look up to and think to myself, I can get there one day. I can be able to do this and speak at a public conference where everyone is looking at me and listening to what I have to say. And that was really a game changer for me in my career. I've attended lots of different events, probably not enough because there haven't been enough in the past. So any opportunity I have to be able to share knowledge, to be able to get people to also share their own knowledge as well, I'll be there.
Fantastic. That's Lays Bammesberger from Meltwater. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're looking forward to seeing you at the Digital Divas Summit happening August 25th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to be a party, y'all. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sandra.
Cheers.